So it's become quite obvious that the semi-finals is going to be a really popular time for players to use their wildcards. And I've got a draft for you. Okay, before I get into the team itself, I think it's really important to go through, I'm going to call it a bit of housekeeping, right? Knowing how many transfers you have at each stage and knowing how many players you can have per nation at each stage, I think is really helpful to know who to pick and sort of how to plan things basically, and whether potentially using the wildcard is actually the best thing for you to do. So looking at the varying stages we've got left, you can have 6 players per team during the semi-finals and 8 per team during the final. For the free transfers, semi-finals you've got 4 free transfers, and in the final you have 5. And in the last video I made, I'm going to completely give credit to this guy because, well, could be good, I don't know by the name, BVMMUU. They say, if in doubt, pick 4 players from 3 teams and 3 from the team that you think probably is going to go out. That gives you 7 to 8 active players, regardless of what happens. And then also 5 transfers to then get rid of players that get knocked out. It means you'll have like 1 or 2 that don't play, but ultimately in the final, it doesn't matter. You're going to be picking players that play and it's only 1 game, right? So that's the kind of mindset you need to get in when picking your wildcard team. Full credit to VVMMUU for suggesting that. Okay, and I also just wanted to go through the Elevenify knockout match predictions. Elevenify have been really helpful for me in all of my videos. I'll put a link to them in the description. Not only for my videos, I suggest they should also be helpful for your teams as well. Now, they're stats, right? You can agree with them or disagree with them. In the last video I made, there are a few people disagreeing with them. I like to base myself on this. It's a good model. It takes data from all the stats of the game so far and betting odds. It's one of the best models for predicting outcomes for fantasy football that I've come across, at least for the Euros. There's obviously only 2 semi-final games going on. We got Spain and France, Netherlands and England. And looking at the goals, England are expected to score the most. Spain is expected to score the second most. France and then Netherlands in 4th. Clean sheet odds, we've got England on 26. France and Spain, very little to split them, 21-22. And the Netherlands on 19. Win percentage, 39-37 Spain and France, 32% for the Netherlands, and 44% for England. So here you're seeing England are predicted to score the most goals. They're predicted most likely to keep a clean sheet, and then the most likely team to win. And a draw is around 24% for both fixtures. So the Spain and France game for me is absolutely impossible to call. Well, I say that, it's pretty 50-50, but I do have a personal favourite. But that's my opinion. Statistically, it's really hard to call, whereas the England-Netherlands game, there's a bit more in it. So thinking back to the comment before of selecting a team you think is most likely to go out, only picking 3 players from, I think the Netherlands for me is that team, and I'll look to pick 4, maybe 5 from England, 4 from Spain, 4 from France. I think that's the kind of way, based on these stats, I would look to structure my wildcard. Okay then, with all that in mind, here we go. I'm going to talk through the defence first. I've gone for Maignan and Verbruggen in goal. Could go for Pickford, but that would leave me with 6 England players in my team, which I think is a little bit risky. I think Verbruggen at 4.5 is worth going for. And Maignan, I just feel the France defence is absolutely outrageous, right? They've conceded 1 goal all tournament, and that was a Lewandowski penalty against Poland. They haven't conceded from open play this tournament. Their back 5 or 6, Maignan's good keeper, Hernandez, Saliba, Koundé, Upamecano. Then they got Kante sort of shielding them. It's a ridiculous defence, and I think, yeah, they're the best defence in the tournament in my mind, so I'm happy to double up on the French defence. Netherlands defence, I'm not too comfortable doubling up on them, but for Verbruggen at 4.5 million, I think he kind of makes his way into the team. And Van Dijk, for me, is my favourite pick of the Dutch defenders. Cucurella has been in fantastic form, of course, for Spain. He's only 4.5 million as well. Decent for ball recoveries, from an attacking perspective as well. I think he's a good option. Theo Hernandez, I'd say of all of the French defenders, is probably the most attacking. So for that reason, I went for him. Stones, I like Stones because I think he offers a little bit of set-piece threat. And Guéhi and Konsa, I'm not 100% sure I could tell you whether either one of them plays. I think Guéhi is first choice, but Konsa played so well in the quarterfinals against Switzerland that he deserves a place in the team based on how he played, right? So with that in mind, a bit of contention between the two of them in my mind. I do think Guéhi plays, but I'm not as sure as that as I am about Stones' plan. I think Stones is absolutely nailed on. And then I went for Luke Shaw because He proved when he played, well, the 20 minutes or so that he played in the game against Switzerland. He played a bit more than that, didn't he? But you know what I mean. He proved he offered so much more than Trippier previously did on that left-hand side. I just think he's going to go straight into that team against the Netherlands and cause some real problems on that left-hand side. We all know how good he is from an attacking perspective. In Euros gone by for Man United, when he is fit, he's one of the best left-backs in the world. So for that reason, I went for him. I think that ties the defence up. All right, onto the midfield then. I've got Fabian Ruiz, Jude Bellingham, Nico Williams of Spain, Dani Olmo and Declan Rice. Fabian Ruiz up first. I just really like him. He's my pick of the Spain defenders. Had a really good tournament from an attacking perspective. Decent, I would say, for ball recoveries. Spain manager absolutely loves him. I think he's a really decent option. So, yeah, Fabian Ruiz is in the team. Jude Bellingham, Nico Williams, Dani Olmo. Jude Bellingham, I think, is probably the most likely England midfielder to score a goal. If you were to tell me to hedge my bets on an England midfielder scoring a goal in a game, I would probably say it's Jude Bellingham. And another benefit that comes with Bellingham, because he's the most expensive midfielder, in the game, if you do have to sell him because he gets knocked out, you can downgrade him to absolutely anyone, and it will also leave you with enough cash to upgrade elsewhere. For example, Cucurella in your team, maybe you need to upgrade him because he's knocked out. He's quite cheap. Bellingham gets knocked out, you can do something like that. So I like the thought of the flexibility he brings, and I just back him to have a good end to the tournament. Nico Williams and Dani Olmo, really like Williams. I think he's been absolutely fantastic this tournament and just a little bit more dangerous than Yamal. So for that reason, I went for him. That's personal preference. You could go for Yamal as well. And with Pedri being injured and confirmed out of the tournament, Dani Olmo has looked absolutely electric every time he stepped out on the pitch for Spain. So why not pick him in my mind? And then Declan Rice, absolute stalwart in the England team, going to play every game, every minute of every game. He's been absolutely excellent for ball recoveries, averaging, I would say, 5 or 6 points per game. Every time he steps out onto a pitch in this game, he gets 5 or 6 points, which I think is really solid and really good, and that completes the midfield. Right then, on to the front three. I've gone at the moment for Mbappe, Memphis Depay and Harry Kane. Mbappe, he's the best player in the world, right? Yes, he's not had the best tournament, apparently playing a bit restricted with his broken nose, got hit on his face mask in the quarterfinals. He's not had a good time of it this tournament, right? But he comes up clutch in the big games, a hat-trick scorer in the World Cup final, right? So you have to back him on these big occasions to show up for his country. So for that reason, he's in. He's going to be my captain, I think, on the first day. Memphis Depay, I really like him as an option. I think comparing him to Cody Gakpo, I just prefer him. Cody Gakpo's in better form, I'd say, from open play. But I just like free kick and penalty takers because it means they can score in any game. And I just have a feeling that the England-Netherlands game is going to be really cagey and there aren't going to be many chances created in open play. So free kicks and pens could be literally where all the goals come from. And that's obviously what Memphis Depay does. And kind of similar reason to Harry Kane, really. I haven't seen too much of him this tournament. I don't think he's been that great. But he is one of the best centre-forwards in the world. He has netted a couple of goals this tournament already. He's on penalties for England. He's definitely going to start, probably play every minute. Yeah, that's the front three. Probably a bit contentious, though, so let me know in the comments if you would change anything. All right, and that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that and found it useful. If you did, please leave a like rating on the video. If you didn't, or maybe disagree with some of the picks there, I'd be interested to hear it in the comments, right? This game ultimately is all about different opinions. If we all had the same opinion, we'd all have the same team. So it'd be a bit boring otherwise, wouldn't it? So yeah, let me know in the comments if there are any changes you'd make. If you want to stick around and see more content from me, I'll be making FPL videos after the Euros. So if you're playing that game, stick around for that. You can subscribe to the Golden Goal channel, which should be just about there on your screen. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video.